Hey everyone, I'm Lee White, and the topic of today's video is going to be how to Slowvember. So for those of you guys who are utterly confused right now, what is Slowvember? Well, Slowvember is a challenge that I am doing. It's an art challenge, and it's a follow-up to Inktober for all of you artists who are doing Inktober. That is a challenge where you do a individual ink drawing every day the month of October. So I created Slowvember. It's the natural follow-up to Inktober, and let me go into that right now, what we're going to be doing. How to Slowvember. So you guys are looking at my screen here in Photoshop. This is just a little guide I put together because the real challenge with Slowvember is I want you guys to finish one portfolio level image in 1 month. Seems like a really easy thing to do, especially at the pace you guys have been going. That's kind of why I wanted to do this one. If Inktober is about speed and moving really fast and playing around without consequence, which is a great thing to do in your art career, slowing down and saying, okay, what do I actually want to make? And how do I change over time? And how do I put together a new portfolio? These are things that a lot of people think about a lot of times, but especially students, but we're just bombarded with speed. And that's why I think a lot of times a challenge like Inktober is so appetizing, because there's not a lot of consequence that you have. It's great for building media development and technique and things like that, but there's no consequence if you mess up. And so I think a lot of times we get into that mode, especially again as students in classes where you're turning stuff in and, well, you didn't have enough time to finish it, so you get that little out, sort of like, hey, well, is it your best work? Well, not really, but you didn't have enough time to finish it, so next time maybe. And enough of those go by, enough assignments where you didn't have enough time to finish it, or you didn't put in the amount of work that needed to finish it to a portfolio level, and all of a sudden you just have a lot of half-done work. And also the other side of that is wanting to change. Some of you guys probably have some images in your head that you've been thinking about for a while, maybe want to try something out, or maybe you learned something during Inktober that you really want to try out, and now's the time to slow down and look at things and see how you want to build up your work. And so this is an easy way to do it. A lot of times when I say, hey, you got a month, that's almost too much time for a lot of people. And so they do a painting really quickly, and then it falls flat, and they're like, okay, well, I didn't do it right, or I didn't know how to do it. I don't know how do you spend a month on a painting. This doesn't mean you have to work slowly, by the way, just because it's due in a month. Here's a week by week recommended approach to this project, and I think it works really, really well. Week one, you're going to take a whole week off. If you've been doing Inktober, like I was saying, you're probably exhausted. You need time to actually think about things and to relax and to give yourself a little bit of downtime. And that's something that's not really talked about. Everything in art creation and schools and videos and all this stuff, even my own videos, say, do more work, do more work, do more work. I'm saying do less work and slow down a little bit. Take a week and just mess around. I want you to actually look at stuff and input for this first week instead of output. And you'll be amazed at how different you feel after a week of just analyzing. So one of the questions I get for week one, research and development, what does that mean? I'm going to give you guys a PDF. Let me change my, my screen. And this is a document that you can link to below. It's on Dropbox, my Dropbox. And so you can download it. I'm not going to go through all this stuff, but this is basically a questionnaire, how to analyze what you're doing. Again, a lot of times we move forward without too much thought. Oh, I'm making a painting today, I'm making an ink drawing, I'm making a pencil drawing, but without much thought to where you're actually going. I equate it to just getting in the car and starting to drive with no destination in mind. And so this is the idea here, is to kind of stand back and look at some of the stuff that you're doing. So I start off with concepts. I'm just going to read through a few of these on each one, just so you can kind of get a sense of it. So concepts, is there any theme that tends to run through your work? The work that you look at, and also non-art related kind of stuff. Is there any theme in your life? So the big idea is like, what am I looking at? Why am I looking at it? And saying, okay, what do I like about it? It's kind of an interesting process to do that. Provide 3 examples. So this is just a PDF that asks you to look at the things you're looking at and to analyze the things you're looking at. Look at the things you're looking at. It's a weird thing to say, but think about the things you're looking at. Provide the names of your top 3 artists who work with these themes. And I'm just talking about conceptually, like what's in the image that somebody's drawing. Is there anything that inspires you outside of the world of art. What is it? How does that tie into your art, if it does? So I do a bunch of stuff that doesn't tie into my art at all. Technique, we go into levels of abstraction. How realistic or stylized is the work that you tend to gravitate towards? If you have a Pinterest page, or if you're just surfing around online or Instagram, what are you looking at, and what's the things that you tend to like more often than not like? How is perspective being handled in those images? How's lighting being handled? How's the media look? Is there texture? Is there not texture? You go through this questionnaire and you're going to learn some very specific things about yourself. Is there a color temperature that you tend to favor? Light colors, dark colors, warm colors, cool colors. And it just forces you to kind of look at what you're doing. And so, like I said, this is a link in the description below, so you can download it anytime. But wow, it really gives you a sense of the things you're actually looking at. So that's step one. That's what the first thing I would do, is just download that and try to answer those questions. It's actually quite fun if you've never done that. Let me get back to my Photoshop. Wow, here we go. So that's week one, research and development. So once you answer those questions, I want you then to spend a week just looking at things, gather things together, maybe make a new Pinterest page just for Slowvember and say, what are the things that I like now? Because you may have Pinterest pages that have, hundreds of links and things that you've tied in there and different projects you've been working on or whatever. Now make something new for this one. Kind of say, okay, where am I going right now? What do I want to do that's a little bit different than what I've done before? How do I want to add to what I'm doing right now? Okay, so that's week one. Week two is thumbnails, value studies, and color comps. If you haven't seen my other YouTube video on how to do 50 thumbnails, go check those other videos out, because I do have a little bit of documentation here for week two on how to do that. I haven't done my color comp video yet, but you just want to start to put together images of colors that you like for the image that you're doing. So week two is really just about messing around, trying a bunch of different compositions out and designs or whatever you're going to do, and rejecting. The important part of this whole process is look at something or make a mark and then analyze it and say, do I want to move forward with that or not? Too often when I see students post work, they start and they just go all the way to finish, and then they're like, oh, I don't like that. And it just was too fast. They didn't stop ever along the way and say, is this actually what I want to move forward with? And if not, why am I moving forward with it? So I want you, again, week two might seem like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of time left over. Well, not really. If you're going through, you do some thumbnails, you decide you don't want to try them again or try to get a better one, just go slow. That's the idea, is to slow down and to be intentional with this stuff. All right, week three and week four, paint, analyze, and then paint again. That's the important part. This is trying to get a portfolio piece. And sometimes the pressure to get a portfolio piece will change the nature of this whole process. Oh my gosh, I'm tightening up because this has got to be good, right? If you have a whole month to do it, it better be good, right? That's the kind of the thinking that goes along with it. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to show anybody this stuff if you don't want to. But the goal is to try to get something that's finished. The first 80% of a project typically is the easy part, and the last 20 to 30% is very difficult. And a lot of people don't finish that stage. They don't, I can make my picture bigger. Let me do that. A lot of people don't finish that stage, the last 20%, where, is the line work right? Are the values actually where they should be? Is the texture right? It's like spending some time with an image. You could spend a whole week after the image is almost done, just sort of looking at it and making minor changes. And what I really want you to do is set the bar high here, but don't freak out about it and get tense because the bar is high. If you go through this whole process and you don't get an image that's portfolio worthy, well, now at least you know where the step is, where you're like, okay, this is easy, 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 bam, this step was hard. And a lot of time for you, it's going to be that last 30%, 20, 30%, where you don't know what to do. You get an image to a certain point and you're like, I have no idea what to do past this point. That is the point where you need to start posting those images and get feedback from other people to carry you that last 20%. What does this need? Is the lighting right? Is this drawing okay? But you need to do that in the early stage as well. Don't just go through it and make one thumbnail and carry that through to finish. Get some feedback along the way too. That takes time. And the big thing I want you guys to do is enjoy the process of making art in an unhurried way. Some of you guys maybe have never made art in an unhurried way, and it's different. It just feels different. If you guys are interested in this project, which I hope you are, I'm going to do some paintings. I'm not totally sure what I'm going to do because I'm still in my R&D moment right now, but I'm going to post it along the way, and I'm going to hashtag Slowvember. If you guys do that, I would greatly appreciate it. I'd love to see what you guys are working on. I'll try to comment on Instagram. That's kind of where I'm going to be looking at my images and posting my images, hopefully along the way as well. And I'll try to help you guys out too if anybody posts stuff and says, hey, what do you think? I can't do it for everybody though, so don't get mad at me if I don't get to it. But anyway, have fun with this, and I hope you enjoy the download and the interview questionnaire. And let's just see what we'll see what we can get done during the month of November. Thank you very much.